First words out of my mouth is wow. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. Whoa. Well done. Chloe, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Wow.
So it started out, we wanted to collect what's called popular cars.
These aren't popular.
Meaning,
I've never seen any of these in my life.
meaning, you know, sometimes you go to these collections and the cars are way over your head. And we wanted to do cars that when people came, they would say, oh, my mom had one, or my grandfather had one, or just...
Well, I'm going to say sorry because they're way over my head. Way over my head. Wow.
But then we got a little carried away, so...
Beautiful. Let's start with this bad boy right here.
This bad boy right
Is this a Franklin?
This is a Renault.
Renault.
So it's a 1911. It runs. It was obviously chauffeur driven, and then you would sit in the back.
Chloe, did you sit in the back?
I had not been in this one.
Oh, wow.
So we got this from California, and there's a few things we need to do to it, but it's very interesting. It's got like leather
fenders,
and it's a 4-cylinder.
this is like absolutely stunning. The brass work up through here, like that's beautiful. Like wow. What kind of person would own something like this back in the day?
Back in the day, it would be basically industrialists. I mean, that had their own
business and
their own business, or a doctor. It was a luxury car.
no doubt.
It was a luxury car. But we went to. There was a collector in California called Peter Mullins.
Yes, we've been there.
Okay.
He's passed lately, has he
Yeah,
not?
he passed, and then his wife decided not to keep the collection.
Okay.
So they sold it off. So we went there for another car. And the guys at the museum were very, very nice. And they told us, no, stay away from the car you want to buy.
That's nice of them.
It's got a cracked block.
Yeah.
And my wife and I fell in love with this one. And they told us, no, this one's perfect. It runs, it drives, it. So
Yeah, they're too, what can I say, to be dishonest. Like, they'd have to be, you know what I'm saying, to sell you something that was cracked, it would be
no, they were very nice.
unheard of, no doubt in my mind. But yeah, so this is from Peter Mullins
Museum. Yes.
That's quite something else. You're a lucky man.
I am a lucky man.
When I first got a chance to do TV, I can remember I want to build a car for Peter Mullins, right? I hollered at them, they just looked at me all funny. It's like, but that's what I wanted to do. I was inspired to do that. But yeah.
So we bought another car from the Peter Mullins Museum. It's the ambulance in the back. We can go look at it.
Yeah.
But that one's interesting. So Peter Mullins, he liked Art Deco cars from the Bugattis and beautiful cars. And there was a collector in France, Schlumpf.
Yes.
That had the biggest collection of Bugattis, and he was a big textile guy. And he started. Do you know the story behind?
I do
Schlumpf?
not.
It's a fantastic story.
Okay.
So this guy made a lot of money in the textile business, and
textiles are just like pieces of what?
Cloth.
Clay. Okay, cloth.
Textile.
Okay.
So cotton.
Yep.
And he fell in love with these Bugattis, and he started buying all the Bugattis he could, and other cars. And he took one of his factories and transformed it into an auto repair shop to restore these cars. And he made the most amazing collection in a museum. And right before he was going to open the museum to the public, in the 70s, early 70s, his workers went on strike. But the strikes in Europe are very harsh and dangerous, and they completely closed down the factory. They took over the factory, and
It was hostile.
it was very hostile. And then one of the workers said, but he's got a collection of cars in the other building over there, and they took over the building. They burned 2 or 3 cars. Thank God better people prevailed and said, no, we can't do this. And the weird thing is the French government intervened and confiscated the guy's collection. And they went to court, etc., and they told him, well, you can keep 9 cars, but we're keeping the rest. It was over 500 cars. And today it's the biggest museum in the world. It's open to the public. It's owned by the French government.
They stole his cars.
Yeah, they stole all these cars.
Jeez.
But one of the cars, so Peter Mullins obviously was a big fan of Schlumpf.
Yes?
And then one day they sold a bunch of the Schlumpf cars, and Peter Mullins just wrote a check for all of them. He didn't cherry pick.
Good man.
He said, I'll take all 25 of them. But one of them was the ambulance back there.
Oh.
And the ambulance was the textiles factory's personal ambulance in case somebody got hurt.
Well,
So we bought it too. Now it needs work, but we're not going to do anything to it. We're just going to get it running.
you have a Delahaye.
Yes.
I want to go over here and take a look at it if you don't mind.
So this is one of a kind.
I'd say I love it. It's awesome.
It's
I like the white walls and the white.
it's beautiful.
Isn't
It's got
it?
beautiful lines.
Yeah, it is.
So what they Delahaye was a very, very famous, wealthy. They made cars for the wealthy
Yes.
pre-war, and then after World War II, France was in a state of disrepair, and nobody had any money. And these guys continued to make cars, but couldn't sell them really. And they were still built on 1930 chassis with 1930 technology.
Is this an aluminum car?
No.
Steel car?
And they were going broke pretty fast. And some of the engineers that worked for this company, Delahaye, decided on their spare time to save their job and to save the company. They redesigned a new chassis, they redesigned a new motor, but the main thing, these were all coach built. So what they came up with, the idea of a standard grille. And the idea was, at the time, we're going to tell all the coach builders from now on they have to use this grille so that we know that it's a Delahaye.
Okay.
And they went to one of the amazing coach builders called Figoni.
Yeah, must have his name up here probably somewhere.
I don't, unfortunately,
Okay.
not yet. And they gave Figoni this grille, and they told them, build us what you think the new generation of Delahaye is going to look like. So he built this car, and he kept it as his own personal car. But it's got, I was going to say electric windows. It's got vacuum-powered windows, so the windows come up and down.
So you can press the button and it works.
Yeah. And it's got a sunroof, and you can open the trunk from the inside. And so he kept the car as a personal car and then sold it. And anyway, it ended up being on sale a couple of years ago in Paris. So we went there to buy it, and we got it. But it's a beautiful car.
It's absolutely stunning. This how you get this all set up here like this? Like you have your own museum. It's beautiful how you done that.
Thank
I
you.
love it. It's awesome.
The idea was to make it look like what the 1920s and 30s car shows.
When you went to look at the cars and see what they were.
Yes.
Yes, I remember that. I've seen pictures, not remember,
Right.
I've seen pictures of that done, right? Amazing. Absolutely amazing. The interior in this thing is beautiful. And you get battery tenders on most of your cars.
All of them, yes.
Well done. I don't do that, and I've wasted every battery I've got.
See, so
See, there's what gets me when you with your door handle there. you see Kindig it as a door handle. Where'd you get that idea? You know what I mean? Like it's kind of, you know, and that's what artists do. They steal from people.
They do. Well, they have to.
I do. Whatever I like, I steal. It's nice. The shifter on the column.
So that's called a Cotel transmission. So it's very interesting. It's electric.
Yeah.
So you, a bit like the Wilson, which is British, you press the clutch and you put it in gear. But when you put it in gear, we can go to the other side. I'll show you. It's fascinating.
You'd sit up quite high in this car, would you not?
Yes.
Yeah, it seems like it's like a low car, but you're sitting up quite high, I would say.
Trunk opens this way.
Look at that now, would you? You got a little lowrider in it. That's where the lowriders got their trunk lid. Man, I'm telling you.
So you put it in gear and you go like this. That's first,
Yeah?
second, third, and fourth.
That's the smallest shifter I've ever seen.
And then you have a lever,
Yeah?
put in reverse, and then you have 4 reverse speeds as well.
You can go reverse 4 speeds.
Yes. Not that you're gonna do it, but
You can.
you can.
Look at that now, would you? Man, that's quite something else, that is. Imagine driving down through Canning with that bad boy? Huh? Do you ever get it out on the road at all? Or?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
No, we try and drive all of them.
Well done.
There's no reason not to drive them.
Yes? I don't know where to go next.
Not in the summertime. Yeah.
What about this one here? 504. I know that's seen that
504 Peugeot. This is another Pininfarina design.
I love the interior.
Isn't it wonderful? It's so 70s.
That's so cool. And is this car a 70s or?
Yes.
Look at the interior in that bad boy, would you, Jolene, huh? What? That's awesome. Who would ever think to do that? Like put that, house interior or whatever.
But it's a beautiful car. So they made a 2-door hard top. They made a convertible, which is the white one there.
Okay.
And the original car was just a 4-door sedan, which we have one over there.
Okay.
In the back.
You have a Mercedes. What's special about this bad boy?
Nothing except
It's a Mercedes.
It was Valentine's Day. I was drinking, and it was on Bring a Trailer. And for some reason, I thought it was a beautiful car.
It is.
And we ended up buying it.
I love the story.
And I then had to tell my wife, we just bought a Mercedes. So it ended up being her Valentine's gift, and so it's called Valentine.
You're pretty smart also. You got a nice car collection, but you're smart. I want to look at this couch.
But this is like the last of the real Mercedes. It's a tank, it's well built. It's cars like this that gave Mercedes the reputation that they have.
I like it that it's a 2-door hardtop. I like that.
No, it drives very, very well.
No doubt in my mind.
Very well.
No doubt.
So back here we have Panhard's. Panhard's was a French company. Panhard's actually the oldest car manufacturer in the world. They
Did not know that.
in the late 1800s, they bought the rights from Mercedes to use one of the Mercedes engines.
Okay.
But they built 4 cars as a series. So they were considered the original car production company. And Panhard made very, very luxurious cars until the end of World War II. And at the end of World War II, the country was so broke that they became socialist. And the government went to all the car manufacturers and decided who was going to build what. So they said to Renault, you're going to build the cheap, economical car for the masses. they went to Peugeot and they said, you're going to build a car for the,
So the government decided who was building
who's
what?
going to build what? And you could only build one model. And Panhard said, what about us?
Yeah.
And they said, well, you can build cars. They don't want them to build cars. So they said, you can build cars, but they have to be made out of aluminum. They have to be air-cooled. They have to be this. They have to be that.
Oh, they stuck them.
Stuck them. And Panhard said, that's fine. We'll do it. And the first car they came out with was, this is a convertible version.
Oh, this thing is so. I wanted to look at this. That's so cool.
So
Looks like Mickey Mouse should be driving it.
Yes. So this is a two-cylinder air-cooled motor. It'll go 100 miles an hour.
This thing's beautiful.
Isn't it?
It is. Like the steering wheel and all the, what do you call that? The plastic is called
It's
Bakelite.
Bakelite.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Bakelite.
Bakelite. Like your purse there, Jolene. Jolene's got a few purses that she's been collecting with Bakelite on it, I guess. They've got a steering wheel done in it, and they got all the dash piece done in it. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
So because these guys were quote-unquote luxury vehicles,
Yeah?
even though this is a small little car, they still had to make it charming. So they did all these air ducts.
Yeah.
They did all the chrome. They made it look really good. And the nickname for this car in France was Louis the 15th, because Louis the 15th was a king
Yes?
that was very extravagant,
Okay.
and he had all these coats and
I seen a guy like that last night at the bar.
so yeah, the nickname of this was Louis the 15th. But you
love
see
it.
the whole grill
Can I go by here?
idea?
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. That's beautiful. Where would you acquire something like this?
So this one we found in France, and it belonged to a Panhard dealer. And he retired and he restored this car, complete rotisserie. And he was getting up in age, and he knew he was going to pass, and he didn't want his wife to deal
With the problem, with the
with
issues?
the problems. So he offered us this car, and we bought it. And then about 2 or 3 years later, his wife called and said he finally passed. And he has this other car, which I can show you.
Okay.
Fantastic car. And I didn't even
Flinch?
clean it. I said, yes, ma'am, because she wanted the cars to be together. And he was so happy that the car, this particular one, had come to America. So we thought we could keep them together.
It's quite something that you know these people and they're calling you to, buy their car. That's quite something, you know what I mean? Like,
Right. Well, we're all custodians of these. Eventually, they'll go to somebody else that hopefully will
do the same.
do the same. It's
Chloe? Yeah.
and it's also keeping a culture alive, keeping a period of time alive.
Yes. Right now we are presently on our YouTube station. We're making a roof fit a car. If you want to come over, Jolene, just take a look for a second. You can see how it's got it pinned. You got a little bracket here, and it's got a pin here, and then it's got the more or less what's going on, the same sort of clip. That pin's in there, and then that bad boy would clip up, and you snap her on and keep the top down. So basically, there's so many ways to do it. We put our pin up here on the top here.
Okay.
And then we'll put our clip, I guess, still here, and it would clip on the face. But there's another different way to do it. And basically, if I would have seen this idea, maybe I would have stolen it, maybe I wouldn't have, but there's many ways to attach a top to a car. This stuff here is what, a labor of collecting?
Yeah. So those are obviously hood ornaments.
Yeah.
But if you look at them, they're fascinating. So what happened is
That's why I stopped.
back in the 20s and 30s, most cars had obviously radiator with radiator caps that were exposed, and a lot of people started having these mascots or hood ornaments made to personalize the car, and it became very, very popular. So, for example, if you had a friend that was a doctor and you went for Christmas, you would have one made for them as a gift. So some of them are really, really cool. Like this one here. See, this would have been for a dentist. It's got
an elephant with a bad tooth.
Yes. See, he's got the little, like old-fashioned when you. Yeah.
I've got a joke for
aren't
you
they
after.
beautiful?
It is. We were given an elephant, or Jolene was given an elephant because the Bugatti that I'm making her, they gave us an elephant. I didn't know an elephant went on a Bugatti, but one did, obviously.
Yeah, that was their emblem.
Yeah.
So a lot of them are obviously a lot of animals. A lot of them are now Art Deco.
Is this a Cupid doll over there? Is that like a Cupid doll right here?
Which one?
The one right there.
Oh yes, it is actually. Yeah.
I have a Cupid doll, but that is a Cupid, like a hood ornament.
It is.
Yeah, I do. Why I have a Cupid doll, I have no idea, but I just think it was cool.
I think they're very cool.
Yeah, they're cool.
So there's Puss in Boots over here.
Puss in Boots. Okay, yeah.
And then the Tortoise and the Hare.
They even made a movie about him, didn't they?
Yes.
Puss in Boots? From
Then
Shrek or whatever?
These were pretty cool. These were actually lit. So they had lights, so you would turn the lights on inside the car and it would light up in the front.
What do you get a little, what's that? Is that a porcupine?
It's a porcupine.
Would that be somebody with a lot of quills or what?
I'm not quite sure.
But it's cool. And the monkey with the light.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And then
Sorry,
you have this one here is.
Don't mess with Jolene's.
This one's really cool. So it's the moon, and he's looking at the naked lady. But you see, he's not very happy for some reason.
Well, she got him by the horns.
But then he made another one where she's actually spread eagled.
Okay, he was a lot happier.
And now he's just smiling, he's happy.
I get it.
I know where it's at, and the guy will not sell it to me.
Maybe after this video he might. Where's this one I was looking at? Oh, your picture back there.
Oh,
Back in the day, that's cool. See the picture? She bent over to fix something. Yeah, that's good. These are wheel covers?
Those are just wheel covers.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Yeah.
I could go on and on and on and on and on, but how much time do you got? Your artwork is spectacular. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
Yeah, a lot of people don't look at it, but it's
art.
It is art.
I like how you got it displayed. I like everything about it. What are these, like how fast you can go and stuff?
Yes, those are old French signs of how fast you could go.
And would that be here in America, or is that in like France or?
These were all from France and Holland.
Never been there yet. We're going to have to go.
Yes.
And this little car here is a Panhard?
Simca.
Simca.
Simca. So Simca was another French brand. It was actually Italian, but they manufactured the cars in France, so it was French.
Okay.
And it's a wonderful little car. It's just a little square box, but it's rear engine.
Interior.
Very, very spacious interior. And if you sit in the seats, you got to sit in the seats.
I got to sit in the seat?
Oh, you got to. That's the one thing about French cars. They're the most comfortable. Remember, this was a cheap car.
This was.
Isn't that nice?
It's like a coach. Yeah, I could drive this. Jolene, you look good in this. Beautiful. It is quite a seat.
So even they made millions and millions of these. They're very rare because they were used every day. They rusted out. They weren't. It wasn't a car you would fix and maintain.
I understand. Little Playboy magazine in the back.
Yes.
Is it the first one?
No, I stole that idea from somebody else. I went to see a collection and they had hustlers in all their cars. So I'm like,
that's what artists do. So this is another one of those.
Correct. So that's
Yeah.
another Panhard.
And that's a Panhard.
And that's a Panhard. This is a Panhard.
I thought that was a Citroën.
It looks like a
Because of the
Citroën.
headlight. I love the headlight look. Love that. This is nice. I gotta take a look at this one.
This is a beautiful car.
Yeah, this is nice.
And look, the interior is just very sporty looking. It looks like a Corvair. Yeah. So what happened was Panhard was going broke. So Citroën bought them out. And they bought them out because they wanted the factories. And Panhard came out with this car. And that's where a lot of people think that
Obviously.
Citroën stole
Sure
the
did.
idea of the headlights.
Sure did.
And they wanted to make a four-door. But Citroën was afraid that if Panhard made a four-door, it would eat into their own Citroën sales. So they told Panhard, no, you cannot make a four-door. And basically, it killed Panhard. And then Citroën.
These guys had a rough go.
Very rough go.
They
But
had-
they're awesome cars.
Yes, but the story, like, I mean, everybody, like, they had a rough go. People were tearing them down every time they turned around.
But it's just a beautiful car.
It most certainly is.
And it's got the same engine as the other Panhards. It's just a 2-cylinder, air-cooled.
2-cylinder. Think about that now, a 2-cylinder.
But it would rev, you have to drive it at 9,000 RPM.
Okay.
And it will definitely do 100 miles an hour.
You wouldn't think of it, yeah.
Yeah.
This is a Citroën, is it not?
This is the Citroën, the 2CV. Amazing car. It's got, it was designed to be a cheap people's car. They made, I think you have the model, the Ford Model T.
Yeah.
And then the VW Beetle. And this is
For production, you're talking in
Right,
numbers.
and this is the third most produced car in the world. But they were designed to, the idea was you could seat 4 people in it. You could get over, at the time, I think it was over 50, 60 kilometers per liter of gasoline. And you could take a sack of eggs, a basket of
Yeah.
eggs, and drive it over a plowed field and not break any of the eggs. So it had amazing suspension.
That's what I've heard about Citroën.
Yes.
Every time. This looks like something like, I don't know, corrugated metal that you'd wrap onto something.
It's all corrugated because it's very, very thin metal.
Okay, and it just strengthens it.
Right, it makes
Strengthens
it
it.
stronger.
Cute. With a window. Huh? That's a drive-through window.
So yeah, it was very simple. Even the seats, well, they're out now. But the seats, you could take them out within 30 seconds and then put them, that people picnic on the side of the road. Then they would put the seats back in.
Nobody's got time for a picnic anymore.
No,
There's no time for a
unfortunately, no. Picnic with a
I pick
bottle
my
of
nose
wine.
when I'm driving, but this is a
So this is the same
Colombo?
we just had that.
it's Colombo car. That's Colombo there, isn't he not?
Right. But that belongs to the car we're restoring in there. So this is the same car as the one outside that we sold. But this is the one I was told to keep. So we did a rally in Greece with it. And this one belongs to my wife. I lost the title. We went to
To
go
your wife, or do you lose the title
I
altogether?
lost the title to we went to a party. I drank too much. I couldn't drive the car home. So she said, I'm going to drive it home, but you're going to give me the title somewhere. So now it's her car, Grace.
Well done.
Yeah. It's okay.
You
I
have-
still get to enjoy
You
it.
have a smart wife. She's business. And this is
A 403 Peugeot.
I like the interior on this thing. This thing's bad.
It's very nice
Oh
interior.
yeah, an orange with a A little bit, I'm not sure if that's Bakelite on it too also, I'm not sure. But it's pretty neat. That's cool. Little bird cage.
So no, people would go on vacation once a year in France, and they would take the dog, the bird, the fish, everybody. Everybody comes in and
you know
leaves.
what? We would like to have our dog with us.
Yes.
And it's hard to bring our dog with us, like when you're flying, like, so, like it's, what can I say? It's hard. I even like the suitcases. And you know what? I got a few suitcases at home I collect. I do. I don't know why, but I do. I like your porcelain signs, like your Peugeot. They're awesome. That's nice too. I must say, I'm overwhelmed. This is awesome.
So this
color here is amazing.
This one here, yes. So this one's going to be on sale next. It was a complete restoration, and we bought it. And then after we bought this car, we found two others that I'll show you. So because we don't need three of the same model, we're going to sell this one.
Peter Mullen had quite a few of these.
Yes.
I would like to chop one.
I have one that's been chopped.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
You want to look at it now?
We'll get to
or
it.
do we
We'll just keep going. And this is
another Peugeot, yeah.
Mickey Mouse seems like the smaller.
So this one here is interesting. It's got what's called a Wyman body. And Wyman was back in the 20s. At the time, they had to shape the metal. They weren't stamps.
Yes, okay.
So they had to, individually, every car had to be done. And it's also got a wood frame. And Wyman thought, hey, why don't we just use vinyl? And he patented vinyl. So the idea was it would be lightweight.
Yeah.
It would be much faster to assemble.
Yes.
And if, in case of an accident, it'd be easy to repair. And so the whole body, if you touch the door, you see it's all vinyl.
Yes, I see that.
And the roof is vinyl.
Yes.
And,
is it covering metal or is it covering wood?
It's covering wood.
That would make it also faster.
And then
Check out
2 or 3 years into the Wyman idea, they developed the first press.
Okay.
So it killed the whole Wyman idea.
Steering wheel's nice in that baby. A little wooden steering wheel, the 4 post on it.
This is just a regular people's car, also Peugeot.
Look at the lens, headlight lenses are
Aren't those cool?
quite something else, aren't they?
So this car is all original. It's wanted to take one of my daughters to Europe so she would see that there's a whole different world out there.
Yeah.
And to rent a car, we were going to be there 4 or 5 weeks. It was very, very expensive. So I found this car, and this car was sold to me by a young couple that had bought a house that had belonged to an old man that had died. And his kids sold the house. When they went to go look at the house, this car was sitting in the garage. In a way, pristine, just
the way it is right now.
Never been repainted, had 30,000 original miles on it. Even the seats were still covered in plastic. So the guy said, I'll buy the house, but you throw the car in. So they did, they threw the car in. And then he got it running again. He changed all the rubber seals and the hoses and etc. And we bought it from him. And we went to go pick it up in the south of France, and we drove it for 5 weeks throughout Europe. We went all over the place. We put 6,000 miles on it.
That's an amazing story in itself.
And we drove it to the port to ship it back. And the guys at the port say, okay, well, that's fine. We'll ship it to America. We need the paperwork. We need the title. We need the insurance. We need all the paperwork.
Yes.
I'm like, not a problem. And I open the glove box, and there's nothing in the glove box. I go to the trunk. There's nothing in the trunk. And I think what happened was the very first day we picked it up, we went to a hotel, and I had a bunch of paperwork for work that I had to do on my trip, and I did all the paperwork, and I threw all the paperwork away. And I think when I threw everything away, I threw all the information about this car as well. So we drove it for 6 weeks with no tags, no insurance, no nothing.
So what you do, get a napkin and write down your name, your number, and where you're going? Here you go?
No, we found the guy that we had bought it from, and he was able to, he had photocopies.
Do it out for you again.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool.
This is a very nice car.
That's pretty cool.
So this is what Peugeot made after World War II. So this was the only car that they would produce. It was for the middle class.
Yep.
But it's got a very much an American look to it.
It does.
Like a Ford look,
yeah.
yes.
It does. I wonder if they took that, or Ford took it from them, obviously, if this was made before.
I think they stole it from the Americans.
Okay.
The look. But it's a wonderful driving car. It really is. It really is.
It's nice to see all these cars and they all drive, eh?
Yeah.
Well, and that sort of stuff. Clean. What do you get up here? A little hand cleaner? Or is this
Oh, that's for a windshield,
yeah.
windshield wiper.
Isn't that nice? Well done. Beautiful. Nice and clean and, what can I say, patina looking.
Yes.
Yes. Really nice. Well, this bad boy.
This here is a Renault Frégate. So it was also after World War II.
That's nice.
And it should have been a 4-door sedan.
You think?
It was.
Okay.
But this one went to a coach builder, Henri Chaperon, which was very famous in France. And he chopped it and made a convertible 2-door.
So they chopped them way back then?
Yes.
So I'm not that bad of a guy.
No.
I'm not that bad of a guy.
No.
They're not as bad as they say I am.
So yeah, they made a
That's
convertible
beautiful.
out of it, and he made 3 of them.
Is your visor see-through?
Yes.
Look at that now with a little tin on it. That's easy.
And this is the only one to survive.
This is a very rare car then.
Yes.
Very, like, wow. I like the two-tone.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah, I love the stainless on it.
Yeah.
The color of the interior, the see-through visor, a little bit of wood on top. It's quite something else. I'm gonna go look at it if you don't mind.
And this one also has a hydro fluid transmission, so there's no clutch.
There's it is with the roof on. Oh, that's nice. Was the box down between the floor that was made?
That was made by Riva, the boats
Yeah,
in Italy.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if we can get a little bit of boat in it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's a little glove box that
Yeah.
opens.
See, now I suppose you would know that's Renault using obviously a car thing, but I've never seen nothing like that before in my life. Chenard a Wrecker. Is that how you say? I'm not sure. Well, how's that go? That one up there, Chenard a.
Chenard and Walker. So they were a French manufacturer. I only have a sign. I don't have one of their cars.
Where are you going to pick up something like that?
That actually came from Massachusetts.
Okay. Odd.
Yes.
Very odd. Grand Source Vital. See, I would never know. Is that a car?
So Vital is mineral water. So like here you have Zephyr Hills water. In France you have Vital.
Did you read about all this shit or what's? I don't,
Little by little.
little by little, like,
Little
where do
by
you get
little.
all the information? You know what I mean? Like, this is pretty.
Yeah, that belongs to my wife. She had to have
She's got
it.
the papers?
She's got the papers. It's titled in her name.
What have you done over your life? I'm just wondering what's going on here. That's nice. I like that. The red line tires, the color, the gray stripe over the front. That's really nice.
Yeah, so this was 1 year only production. It's called a TR250. They
This year? It's nice.
yes. So it's an old style car, and Triumph sold these for many years, and then they came up with a straight 6-cylinder. and they didn't have the money at the time to redesign the car. So for 1 year, they used the old body and put a 6-cylinder in it. And they had TR, it was called TR5 for the European market, TR250 for the American market. So this is one that was sold in America.
Very nice.
But
Very. The car, this one here must be an everyday.
So that's another Peugeot. It's 1970, same, all original, never been repainted, never anything. So this is the 4-door sedan version of Grace, the convertible, or the little green 2-door coupe we saw up front.
Okay.
Very rugged cars.
You're a fan, obviously, of them.
Oh, yes.
Yes, you're a fan. You have some scooters back here. Look at this one here. It runs off the front wheel. That's cool.
Right. So you start it up, and then you just engage it.
Yeah.
This one's, I have a better one there, but you bring this down, and it basically makes the front tire
take off. We have a couple scooters that we collect. Couple.
Scooters are cool.
Yeah.
It was definitely a mode of transportation when we were teenagers.
Yes. Where did you grow up?
I grew up a little bit everywhere. South Africa, France,
Oh, wow.
England.
So you're seasoned. You know a lot of stuff.
I don't know if I'm seasoned. I'm seasoned now.
Well, like, I mean, I live in Nova Scotia, and I haven't, we've been flying around a little bit lately. Like, I'm 50 and really haven't been really too many places, but lately.
Well, we're about the same way. But the whole idea behind this was nearly just a memory of
your childhood.
And the dinky toys and the Matchbox toys.
Did you ever get a ride in an ambulance like this?
You don't want to ride in the ambulance like this if you're sick.
Oh, is this one where you're done?
You will be done by the time they get you to the hospital, yes.
Oh, this is pretty neat.
So this belonged to obviously a town, a village.
Yes.
And it was their little ambulance. And somebody lovingly restored it.
Let's go walk over
But
here.
you see, so it's still got the bed in the back.
Yeah.
And the bed will slide out. And
Yes.
then it's got oxygen tank, a seat for the nurse, blankets.
It's equipped.
It's equipped.
And you bought this for the oddity, I'm thinking. Where would I ever see another one?
Yeah, so basically this one came up for sale at an auction in England. And I thought it would fit well with the collection.
And it does.
So I had a friend go to the auction for me. And it was just basically a crapshoot. And the thing comes on the auction block and nobody bids on it. So we're at 10,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Nothing. I'm like, go bid. So he bids and still nothing. So I'm like, well, John, screw it. We're not going to get it. There's going to be a reserve on this thing. And sold. And apparently there was a reserve on it of like 35,000. But the auction house totally screwed up.
They have to take the blame, do they not?
They had to reimburse the guy. So yeah, we got it for nothing.
That happens a lot, I would say.
I don't know.
Confusion. More beautiful artwork.
So this is a fantastic car. This is a Citroën.
It looks like a person. Like I just woke up this morning.
Or
My eyes are squinting a little bit. It looks like a person.
so it's the same as the 2CV. It's the same chassis. It's the same suspension.
Yes.
It's just slightly bigger. So it's got 4 doors. Very comfortable inside.
The steering wheel and the interior, again, are amazing on this.
Aren't they?
They are. And the roof.
So the roof is made out of fiberglass
Yes.
to save on weight.
Yes.
And some of the body panels are made out of plastic
Yes.
to save on weight.
Aluminum. Looks like it.
It looks like it. It's. I'm not going to tell you it's aluminum because I'm not sure. It's definitely a metal that will not rust. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, the roof's cool. And the interior is something that I'd want to see in a custom nowadays. I love that with a little bit of, you know, leather or something or different. But the steering wheel in this house got one.
Yeah, it is. It's cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. Got to be different, right?
No window cranks, just all lightweight, very, very lightweight. These seats come right out for the picnics.
I want to go for a picnic. Can you show me how the window opens? Does this slide back, does it?
Oh yeah, just
Another drive-through window.
there you go.
Too easy, eh? Why make all that stuff when it's not necessary?
It's true.
Like it is really not necessary. Awesome.
It's true.
I like this, all the machine worked aluminum up through here. That's nice. Or what, I'm not sure if it's aluminum or what it is, but it's just nice that it's a detailed piece.
Probably is aluminum. And then you see even this here, in case of a fender bender, it would just,
Got the lights in it with springs in case you hit something. Yeah, it's got a funny look. It's got a person look to it.
yes.
does.
Some people could call it ugly, but
It's not ugly.
I don't
It's
think so.
It's someone's, someone's artwork. It's you think it's beautiful, so
I do.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not.
I do. So
I got a
this
lot of
is
stuff people think's ugly.
another Citroën. This car is what basically bankrupt Citroën. They, Andre Citroën that developed, obviously, the Citroën brand, was very innovative. And in 1933, he came up with this idea. This is a front-wheel drive monocoque chassis with independent suspension. It was the first of a lot of things that cars.
The grill is gorgeous.
Yes,
What is this?
that's to crank it by hand.
Okay. Better idea than Ford. You had to shove in there quite a ways, and you'd end up bending your grill or doing something. It's right out front, so you're not going to tear anything up. That's just my opinion.
So they spent so much money on the design and innovation of this car that they went bankrupt. And Michelin, the tire company, they owed so much money to Michelin that Michelin just took the company over.
Okay. That's how you do it. Just get in so much. You got so much money that they
There
have
you
to
go.
take it over, and you'll be okay.
Yes.
Another Citroën.
Another CV, 2 CV Citroën. So this is one of the very first ones that still got the ribbed
Yep.
hood. The roof comes right off, so it's like a convertible.
They make those now. I think someone has kind of taken this roof, and you can buy them and put them into a car now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like they have a track where they slide back. They kind of just slide back, I think, and then bunch up in the back.
That's it. Again,
So
it's just come right out.
what am I going to say? So if you don't see the corrugated, you know it's older, or is it?
So they stopped the corrugation in the mid 60s.
I'll try to keep that information. Well, this bad boy.
So that's a newer version of the same car.
You got less corrugated or in the hood? I just want you.
Less corrugated.
Yeah, look at less. Yeah. Another bike that runs off the front. And I know how to work it too. Just pull that lever and pull that down, pull on your front wheel. I learned that from somebody. You got a white one. I'm going to look at that, but there's a white one in here.
So that's the project right there.
That's a project. That's the same as outdoors. Is that the same one as outdoors?
Yes,
That
but
you
a
sold?
convertible version.
But a convertible version. I like it. Nice.
This is a very rare car. This is based on the Citroën 2CV chassis, and it's all plastic body. And the guy, this designer engineer designed this chassis, this body, to fit over a 2CV chassis with the same motor. And he just wanted to make it like a little sporty car.
Yep.
So he spent all the money doing this, and then he presented the car at one of the big European saloons where they, every year they showed.
Would be like
the new
everybody have their
cars.
name and
there
all that
you
stuff.
go.
Okay.
But he kept the Citroën emblem on it. And the Citroën guys were walking, and they walk by his booth, and they see their emblem on the car.
Yeah.
They said, what is this? He said, I meant to talk to you guys. This is my idea. It's your chassis with your motor, but I put my own body on, and I was going to come and see you guys and see if we can talk. I can buy the chassis from you and the motor. And they got so upset that he had actually left their emblem on the car that they told him no, and they told all the dealers that they were not to sell him anything but at full retail price. So he was still thought his idea was so great that he would buy a brand new Citroën, take all the body work off, put his own body back on, and he went bankrupt within a year.
Yeah, I can picture it.
But this car, I'm told, from all the documentation, was actually the car that was
In that
shown
saloon,
at
like
the saloon.
this.
Yes.
And this thing here is
So this is a Matra.
this is quite a,
It's a beautiful car.
it's a beast. Got a nice long pointy front end on it. Got a big scoop in the back. Got a wide body kit on it, sort of, you know, like.
It's got first mid-engine production car.
This is the first.
So this was the other car that we got from the old gentleman that had the blue convertible Panhard.
Okay, down in the corner.
Yes. This was his other car.
So the wife called, and this is it.
Yes.
No more handprints on it.
No, I wiped them off.
I like the belt buckles. They're so easy, like so.
So that's where the engine is, right under
Yeah.
this, yeah.
Jolene has a Corvette with a mid-engine this color. It's a beautiful color. Same color. Or close.
So this is the French racing blue color.
The steering wheel so close to the dash. Like just knuckles away.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Once you're in, you're fine. But it's not easy to get in and out of.
Is this a fast car?
It was at the time. It's very lightweight, and it's got a Renault Gordini, so a race engine in the back.
The roads must be smaller over there.
Much smaller.
Much smaller. So that's why the cars are smaller.
So yeah, the whole body is fiberglass.
Isn't that pretty? Huh?
But it's loud.
Nothing wrong with loud. Look, I got a header on it.
Yeah. It's got double Webers.
Yeah. Like a Hemi sort of too. Is it not? Like I mean.
Not on this one, no. All the Peugeots have Hemi
Heads.
yes.
There's something else I didn't know.
So what they did,
Is that glass or is that
no,
plexiglass?
it's plexiglass.
See, I make plexiglass windows all the time.
You do?
People just rib me. Yeah, I took a barbecue and I made a top for it out of wood, and I make my own windows.
Really?
Yeah.
So you could make a window, because the Delahaye has a plexiglass in the back,
Yeah.
and it's all scratched up.
Yeah. Piece of piss. You
Really?
can do it. Yeah, you can do it in seconds.
There we go.
Yeah.
So this guy, there were two of them, and after the war, they built tubular chassis to go race, and they raced the little 2-cylinder Panhard engines,
Okay.
and they were very efficient, and they won in their category. They won all the big races, Sebring, Le Mans, and then one day Renault had this what they called a wizard that took an engine and made it into this
Gotcha.
Gordini. And one of the two partners said, instead of racing these little Panhard engines, let's start using these Renault Gordini engines. And they disagreed, so they split. And this is the first car that the one guy produced, the D-Jet.
A lot of history. Isn't it? A lot of history on that.
Yeah.
Even the mirror, look at the mirror on it. How it sits on it, huh? That's neat. I like that.
But it's nice, and the interior is very pretty with the wood.
It is. It's another car for Jolene. Citroën.
Citroën SM, two-door with the Maserati engine in it. Citroën had bought Maserati in the late 60s, and they wanted to use their engines. But at the time, Maserati were building V8s.
I like the seats.
Yes.
Their seats are cool.
And they couldn't get the V8 to fit in their design, so they had Maserati chop 2 cylinders off.
They just need to chop more of the car away, that's all.
Right. But it's a fantastic car. It's got the hydraulic suspension, so when you crank it up, it raises. And it's all hydraulic. The steering is hydraulic, the brakes, it's all on the same system. So when the system breaks,
You're done.
you're done. You're not going anywhere.
Same as an air ride system nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, in my opinion, like it's so hard to look after. Like if you're not running and driving it all the time. I got a few cars that are on the ground because I can't get them started.
Right, and you can't push them.
That's where I'm
So
at.
all the Citroens that have hydraulic here,
Yeah.
we automatically start them once a month.
That's
Even
what
if we don't drive them, just to get them to work. Otherwise, the whole system goes
goes to shit.
yeah, very fast. The headlights turn with the steering wheel.
Yeah, we did a truck like that, but yeah, that's cool. I didn't know that happened with these.
But it's a very hard car to drive, but once you get used to it, it's absolutely wonderful. And you catch yourself just smiling because
It's wonderful.
it is wonderful.
The green car behind here.
That's a great car right there.
Love the look of that.
So this car is quite interesting. This car, Ford back in the day had Ford France, and Ford France was still owned by Ford, but it was completely separate from American Ford. And they really weren't doing very well in France. And the guys that were running the French Ford division, thought, well, we need to make a nice sports car that's going to compete with the Delahayes and cars like that. So they went to go see a body guy,
One of these people? Or like a builder?
an independent builder.
Okay.
And they told him, design a car for us around this chassis, and it's got a flat 8 in it.
A fat 8.
So they designed this car. You need to look at the inside. And then Henry Ford came to France in '53. And when he came, the Ford division in France gave him one of these to drive. And if you look, there's no Ford on it. There's no word Ford.
No.
And he said, this is a wonderful car. What is it? And I said, well, it's actually a French Ford. And he said, but we didn't design this car. I said, no, we sent it to an independent. They're all happy.
Yes.
We sent it to an independent, and this is what he came up with. And he was so pissed off, apparently, because these guys had gone outsourced all the body work when they had their own engineers in America that could have done it, or in France, that he actually sold French Ford the very following year. Said, I've had enough with you guys. But he liked the car so much, he ordered 2 for himself and brought him back to America.
I've watched a couple things on him. He was quite a dude.
Yes.
He was quite a dude.
But the inside is absolutely beautiful.
I love the steering wheel. I love the dash.
Isn't it nice?
I love the interior. It's beautiful. I like the pulls on the doors. That's nice. Nice. I often wonder, with this car, how do you take the fenders off?
Oh, I know.
Like you'd have to strip it down, unlet it, and pull them off, or
I don't know. I remember when we first got it, we were driving to a restaurant, and I had not closed the hood properly. And we're driving, all of a sudden the hood goes wham, all the way up. Thank God it didn't break anything. But it broke the springs that keep it up. So yes, this is some, but yeah, we can't fix it. We need to take it to a guy like Tom and see if they can't readjust it. But like you said, there's no seams, there's nothing.
And that's how, where I come in to customize, I do that. I weld fenders onto the car. You can't get them off after I've welded them on. You have to cut them off, but it damn well looks good. Doesn't it?
Oh, it looks much better.
Yeah, it does. Like when you take that line out, you take this line out, take that line out, there's a line down, it's gone. That's where they got it from these guys, from somebody like this. I just like the roof shape and the smoothness of it. The hubcaps are cool. I put them on a custom every day of the week. Taillights are nice. I like those. They're nice, good little tiny things on them. Nice, very nice. Where would something like this come from?
So this car was restored in France, and somebody in California bought it. And then somebody in Texas bought it, and they decided to sell it for charity. So I went to go look at it, and
you're the charity donator.
I'm the charity donator.
That's how it goes.
But yeah, I love the car.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Now it doesn't drive very fast. And
what year of flathead would it have in it?
So this is a 52, so I couldn't tell.
Is it a distributor down front or on top? Doesn't matter.
I don't know.
Doesn't matter. And what do you got here?
So this here is
Citroën
a
again?
little Citroën. It was the car. Apparently, it was first car designed for the woman market. So it was sold.
They built a car for a woman.
For a woman. It wasn't very practical because it's only got one door on the passenger side, so she would have to get in and crawl on the other side.
Well, back in the day, it was. I'm not going to say it. Look at the little bum on the end of it, Jolene. Come look at the bum and the little window in the back. Huh? Half boat, half car. They machined the dash, aluminum. That's cool. Very cool. The wheels, one big sheet of steel and a rim. And this is a
B12. It's
putting you through your paces today, aren't I? Huh? Trying to remember all the. Huh?
This was the last car produced that still had. So it had a. It had a metal, obviously a metal chassis, but a metal body.
Instead of the aluminum?
Right, that they would have to put, instead of the wood. From what I understand, I'm not quite sure, but whatever technology came after this car had a tendency to rattle and to loosen up.
That sounds like a normal car.
Right.
What is it? What's that for, flowers?
So that's for flowers.
Yeah.
And then that's the ashtray.
right.
So these were accessories. You could buy accessories to customize your car at the time.
Do you remember how to drive all these things?
Yeah, so they're all different.
Yeah.
Usually I make notes,
right.
but like for example, the pedals, like on these two, the accelerator is in the middle and the brake is on the right. So when I first drove that car, I drove it straight into a bush, because. But.
Well, you got lots of bushes to run over,
Right.
right?
So this is the same version as the other one, but this is one of the very first ones pre-war. So it's got a different roof line than that one, because when the Germans bombed their factory and they bombed the stamp that made the roof on these. So when they remade this big stamp, they changed the design a little bit.
I like this. I like that. This is odd.
Yeah. So this is again based on
Elon Musk didn't make this one?
It looks like it, doesn't it?
It could.
He might have stolen the idea from this one.
Well, he's got no shape.
No.
No, he made it cheaper by making no shape.
Well, that's the thing most people don't realize.
Yeah.
Just flat metal.
Watching the internet, I scroll once in a while, and that whistling Dixie or something like that. He bought one. You ever see that guy?
No.
Everything he buys, he destroys. Like he'll buy a brand new Ferrari and he'll rip the console off it and rip the mirror off it and run into things and beat it with a hammer.
Why?
It's YouTube. Like he makes money off it, I guess. He'll buy a nice Ford truck and he'll go through a fence post and he'll smash it all to pieces and people get ugly and whatever. But he had a Elon Musk truck and he started ripping it off and everything was glued on. Like he was ripping things off and it was like that easy. He just put a putty knife on it, he ripped off all the moldings and he was ripping off all this shit and it was like, is that how he made that car? Like a two-faced tape? Like it's quite something. Mm-hmm. But anyways, this is another.
So this is actually Greek. So they bought the rights to use the Citroën 2CV chassis and engine, and they put their own body on it. And they built it for the Greek army originally.
So it's like a Willys Jeep.
Right, there you go. But it's still two-wheel drive. But it's a great car to drive. You see the roof comes right off.
Yeah.
It's a beach car.
Couple surfboards and you'd be set to go.
There you go.
The only problem is I don't know how to surf. This is cool. Saab.
So that's a Renault. And we restored this one and we thought it'd be fun to make it into a police car.
This looks good.
So we made it into a police
I
car.
wouldn't mind that little thing chasing me. I just keep on going. It's just a little car, just keep on going. That's pretty.
But yeah, it's
very pretty.
It's fun. All the emblems on the doors here, they're all hand painted like they would have been back then.
I have a new eye on this stuff. This is your ambulance that you're not going to restore?
Yeah, no, we're going to leave it the way it is. We're just going to redo the motor so it's drivable.
That makes sense to me. I don't think I'd do anything to it.
No, I don't. I think it'd be horrible to do anything to it.
And this came from
the Schlumpf.
The Schlumpf.
The Schlumpf collection.
I really like the window on the front. Just like we all try to do that. Get it looking like that, you know? Got the Bonneville look. Awesome.
And then in the back is the original bed and everything else. This here is called a bétailleur. So what it was is, obviously it's a van, but they would change the body in the back so you could transport cows or goats or horses.
Or plants or trees or...
It's bétailleur. It was mainly for animals, farm animals. So the back comes down and it's a wooden ramp. And then you would lead your animal in here and then you would escape through here.
So it was a livestock truck.
There you go, livestock.
So basic, but so simple, but yet
Simple,
does
but-
everything. that you
Right.
need.
But very hard to find because these things obviously would rust and
I've never seen one before in my life, so I can vouch for that. I've never seen one. I didn't know they had an SO woman, or
yes.
I know they had.
SO
guy,
man and
yeah.
well, they're the oil drops, so they had a male and female.
This is nice.
This is a Renault Caravelle. It's a convertible. It's got a hardtop on it.
Can I get in through here?
Yeah.
So the top comes off.
The top comes off, and then there's a convertible top that comes up.
Okay. I just got to look because. Okay. So it connects right here. And 2 up front. That's all we have to do, baby. We got 2 up front. Now we have to put 2 more in the back because we're making a lift off top on a Volvo. Engines in the back. I like this stuff. That's nice. On the side. Did you restore this car?
Yes.
Well done. Beautiful.
Yes. This is the first one we restored.
In the collection? Wow. How long have you owned this car?
I think I bought it in 2015.
Okay.
I bought it locally, and at the time I had
pretty.
a young guy that was very, very talented, and I was on my way to Europe, and his father said, my son needs a job. I'm like, I really don't want to give him a job when I'm not here, but they were desperate, so I'm like, that's fine. Start with this car.
Yeah.
Strip it, and we're gonna
Did a good
restore it. And
Obviously.
I remember I was 2 days into Europe, and he sends me a picture, and he's already stripped it. Everything's off it. The engine's out, the windows are out, the windshield. I'm like,
Was you flipping or was you thinking, yes, he's going for it?
oh, I was happy.
Okay, good.
And no, he was very talented mechanically, body-wise, everything. But yeah.
More beautiful artwork.
Yes. The one I love the most is this one here. Let me bring the motor down.
Priceless oil.
Yes.
This car's cool.
But this is taboo today, between the Indian and the oil that's covering the earth.
Very much. I watched a movie. I don't know what many movies you can watch and take from, but I watched a movie where the Indians owned the oil and they didn't own it for long.
I heard that. Yeah, my wife watched that
Yeah.
movie. She said it was very good.
Yeah.
And they got super wealthy, right? And they had all these beautiful
And
cars.
they couldn't have it. You know, the Indians having all the money and the oil, they couldn't have that. And so on and so forth. But yeah, that's beautiful. You wouldn't understand it unless you, I guess, had a little bit of history, I guess.
So it says, with this oil, your engines will always be young.
On the bottom. So you
On
speak
the
French?
bottom. Yes.
You're multi? You can speak
Well, just 2 languages.
2 languages? I can only speak 1. I can curse a little bit. I got a little bit of sailor in me.
I told myself, whatever you do, don't use the 4-letter word today. Which
Well, it's hard.
It's very hard.
Yeah, especially,
So this is a custom.
that is awesome.
So this was basically that. And
Same,
same car.
Ford?
Yep.
I gotta look this bad boy over. Wow.
And this guy that does race cars at Le Mans bought a 4-door
Yes?
to make it into a convertible. And one of his friends, a very, very famous designer, said, no, you don't want to make it into a convertible. Let's make it into a 2-door hardtop. This car was originally designed in 1955. And They did chop them and make them into two-door convertibles and two-door hardtops, but with no originality. They would just basically cut the roof off, and that was it.
Yeah.
This designer said, no, we need to keep the same concept as what the original designer would have thought he would have done it back in 1955. So it's exactly the same car, and all they did was keep the firewall in the front, and they redesigned everything. So they made the doors longer, they made this longer.
Yeah. The paint's gorgeous.
Paint's nice, huh?
Paint's gorgeous.
Nice
Gorgeous.
colors.
The interior, like how they did the dash, wrapped the dash and stuff, and it's gorgeous. Wow.
Of course, it's got modern amenities. So it's got power windows, and it's got Bluetooth, and it's got air conditioning.
Wow.
It's got electric doors, so you can open them with the.
So how did you get this one? Like they were tired of it, or
No, so what happened?
auction?
I had a friend of mine in France that sent me a little YouTube video of somebody making a program on this car. And I told my friend, I'm like, that car is absolutely gorgeous. We need one. So he contacted the people and they didn't get back with him. So he contacted them again and they said, there's a guy in America that interested in purchasing one. There were two of them. And they said, well, we need to think about it. And then they came back about a month later and said, okay, we'll sell you this one, the first one they made, the original. So he went to go look at it, and at the time it didn't have a motor in it. It was more of a
Half project.
Yeah. And they came up with a price that was really very honest. So they finished the car off, and the problem they had is, unlike America, you can build a car in America and you can drive it.
Yes.
But in France, you can't. It has to be homologated. by
Well,
the
they
government.
don't do it the way I do it. You just drive and don't care.
Right, but unfortunately the French are so sticklers to the
Yes.
law, they couldn't get the car homologated, so they couldn't sell them
Right.
in Europe. And then another program was made on the car after we purchased this one, and it went on national TV, and they got orders left and right for them, so they started making them, and then they finally got a homologation.
Yeah.
So this is the first one ever built, and I think
cool.
they're up to 8 now. The guy, Singer, the guy that does the Porsches in California, Singer.
I wouldn't know.
Anyway, he apparently is a famous guy, and he'll take a Porsche 911 and he'll customize it his way,
Okay.
and it's very sought after.
Is he the guy that's putting the wide body on?
Yeah, I think.
Wow.
He went to see them and ordered one too.
Okay.
So, but no, it's a beautiful car.
It is. It's absolutely gorgeous. I couldn't see one looking any better, to be honest with you.
And
like
it's got the hydraulic.
I like how the wheels are so far back. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it works every bit. I don't know how you'd make it any nicer. What do you think, Jolene? Like it? It's gorgeous, isn't it? What is the blue car?
The blue car is a Hotchkiss. Actually, the person that started this company was an American, and he made cannons and armament. And after, I think, World War I, he went and he moved to Europe and started making cars. So they were more upscale luxury cars, very well built.
It's got like an artillery wheel on it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
I like the bumpers wrapped around.
Even the emblem is actually 2 cannons.
Okay. So you would say it was built like a tank?
Yeah. Yeah. So this is another company that after World War II, nobody was buying the cars anymore because they were too expensive and too big. And so this is pre-World War II technology, and they basically went bust in the mid-50s because nobody was buying this anymore, and they didn't have
just little blinkers off a bicycle, more or less.
I think so.
More or less, you know.
Yeah.
Basically, just to show a little bit of light.
Well, they're
Reflectors.
just reflectors.
Yeah, like a bicycle reflector. What? This is a brass era car?
Mm-hmm. So this is a Delahaye Belleville. It's at the time they made locomotives, steam engine,
Yes.
and
Is it steam?
no. And they were the most luxurious brand in the world. They were better than Rolls-Royce. They were the best. And they would just build the chassis with the motor, and then would go to a coach builder, and usually it was sold to kings and queens. And
So I wouldn't get one.
no,
No, I wouldn't get one. Pinstriped on the leaves, like everywhere is pinstriped.
now of course it's old, but if you look, see it. These are actually nails.
Yeah.
But then they would putty over them, so they would be here too, but you don't see them.
Right.
Just the coach work was amazing. But this is the oldest one to exist in the world. Now the body was redone, so it's not perfect.
Neither am I. Neither am I. 1905. Do you know how to drive this sucker?
No, so apparently it was restored in the 70s.
Yeah.
But then it went to a museum, and it sat in the museum for 50 years, and we bought it from the museum, and we have not attempted to start it. But we do have all the documentation. Little by little, we're collecting how to get to this.
It's kind of like, who sat in that seat?
It wasn't you and I.
Who sat in that seat, you know? How important was you to sit in that seat? The engine, that's cool. Wow. They're making this sort of stuff back in 1905. Mm-hmm. Looks like a ram horn manifold from a V8.
Mm-hmm. It was an art. It was beautiful.
Look at the belt on the fan. Like an old bicycle belt or an old... The brass work. Wow. We have an old chassis that we bought from a friend. It's a 12 or 17 Studebaker. Just a chassis. I want to make like a roadster thing out of it or something, you know, back in the day is what I'm thinking. But this reminds me of the spoke wheels and that sort of stuff. Smaller version.
Smaller version. This is called a zebra, the zebra. And have you ever heard of Bizet Carmen, the opera, the music?
No.
If you heard it, you would say, oh yeah, I know.
Okay. you say so.
So his son used the money that they made from this music and started a company with another guy, and they made these little cars. And they were one cylinder. Every time you drove it, you would have to change the oil. But you know, this is 1909, 1908. And we put that on there.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, hold on, what that is now, would you? Oh, it's a zebra.
It's a zebra.
Okay.
But these cars ended up being used by the French military in World War I because they would deliver food and supplies to the troops in the fields with these things.
And the headlights on these bad boys. Like, you could take that headlight off and use that for carried around for light, could you? Go figure. This is a beautiful car here.
Yes, it is.
Wow. Did you restore this one?
No, we bought this one the way it is.
What is this bad boy?
It's a Peugeot. It's a 1934 Peugeot. It's got a 6-cylinder, straight 6.
Beautiful.
But you see, it has no running boards.
Right? This is what the Citroën that back there gets, that fender cut-off thing. This is cool. I like this. It's almost like a Duval windshield, but different. A little, you know what I mean? Like it lays. That's beautiful. Wow. I like the grill.
Yes, and even the windows, the way they roll up.
They're no sat. See this on this side.
So it was designed by a very famous designer called Partout. But she drives very nice, very smooth, very quiet, not very fast.
When you're driving something like this, you wouldn't want to go fast.
No.
You want to take time to wave to people that are waving to you. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. Did we see this one yet? Same. What's this?
So this is a Triumph.
A what?
A Triumph.
A
English?
Triumph? Triumphs that I know don't look like that.
No. So Triumph was trying to make a comeback, and they designed this car to compete against Jaguar.
Okay. What's the hat all about? The gesture hat.
Oh, I bought this in England, and I thought every time we drive this car, we would drive it because my wife calls this car, she names all the cars, so this one's called the Vicar.
Seats in the back.
Dicky seats, yes.
Dicky seats.
Those are Dicky seats.
What do you mean by that? Dicky seats.
That's what they call them. So you put your kids back here.
Okay. You put your kids back here.
Oh, you
with a
mother-
helmet? No helmet.
No helmet. They got their own windshield. So of course this comes up.
I've actually did that. Like I got a car that I put a window in the back. It flips up. And the only reason was because the roof was a station wagon and the roof flipped up in the back, so I can.
So when you close all this up, then this closes as well. But it's weird because then when you look at the car, if you don't know, you don't understand
What's going on?
what's going on with this.
Will that tire hit that? No,
No.
You obviously know. Well, look at that now, would you? I understand completely.
There we go.
That one's in.
This one. The only reason we bought this car is because we thought it looked cool.
It is cool. It's fantastic. Have something like that. What the hell's going on in there? Oh, that's with my kids. A little air tube coming out. Yeah, you're fine. It's like Ross said, walk it off. Walk it off. It's beautiful.
It's got 3 windshield wipers.
That's neat. The mirrors are cool. They swivel them things around. I like the hood ornaments. Good on it. Quite something else. I want to go back over here, you don't mind. You got a little car you put the trunk lid down on.
Oh, the gold one?
Yeah.
That is a Renault Alpine.
A Renault Alpine.
And the Renault Alpine, when it first came out, was a very sporty
It looks sporty.
car. And then they, but it was a 4-cylinder. And they kept the design. I don't have one here, the original. They kept the design for a long time, and then it got outdated. So they redesigned the car. And they were gonna put a 6-cylinder in it, but they didn't have time, so they only made this car 1 year. It's got the original 4-cylinder engine, and it's got 6 headlights in the front, but it's all fiberglass. And this is all original. It's never been repainted or anything. But it's a very cool car to drive.
It is. It looks cool. I like seats and stuff in it. laid back like a supercar.
It's like a little go-kart. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you have a Renault.
Another Renault. That's called the Doctor's Coupe. So it's got a little rumble seat in the back.
Patience.
Patient. Dog.
From what I understand, my grandfather had the first car in Kingsport, like a Model T or whatever. He would go up the road and he'd be doing 15, 20 miles an hour, I guess, and they'd say, look at that fool, he's going to kill himself. Right?
Yeah.
That's what they would think, probably, no doubt in my mind. So you would you find that here? Would you find that in...
We bought this in England.
Wow. More beautiful artwork. What is the guy with the mask on, do you know?
Yes, so Fantomas was a famous French movie that came out. He would have been like, he was like a bad version of James Bond.
Okay, a bad version. What would that
He
be?
was a criminal.
Oh,
So
okay. He was the other side.
He used these powers and to be a criminal. But in the movie, he's being chased by the police in one of these DS's.
Okay.
And because he's a James Bond type of a guy, he presses a button and all of a sudden these wings come out on both sides and he turns the car into an airplane.
Can I watch that movie still?
He flies off with this car with these wings.
Yes.
And evades the police. But his name was Fantomas. And Fantomas is slang in French for somebody that has a knack to disappear.
Yeah.
So if you walk into a room, he's no longer there.
We call that the Irish exit.
Okay.
You just walk away when no one's looking. If you're drinking, you're done drinking, they're talking, see you later.
Gone, yes.
Irish exit. And this is a newer sort of car, is it not?
This is the Renault Le Car, what was sold in America as the Le Car.
Okay. I think your aunt, Carol had, what she had? A Le Car, I think.
They were great little cars that really didn't have a good reputation in the United States. But this one has completely upgraded interior. It's got a more of a racy engine in it, an Alpine.
She's all painted up, detailed.
Yeah.
Got a rack and pinion, front wheel drive.
Great little car to drive. So we bought this to do rallies in Europe, and then we brought it back here. We should have left it there. Because it is a fun car to drive.
Oh, so you left it there to drive it there, you mean? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is another Renault?
This is another Renault. These were a bit like the Citroën 2CV. They were amazingly engineered cars. This is obviously a little truck version. But PTT is the French post office.
Yeah.
So if you ever go to France, to this day, when they deliver mail, they deliver in this
Wasn't that cool?
in this color. And they so this is an original one. And normally over here, you could buy advertisement. So if you were the local butcher, the local, you could have your name put in here, and you would pay the post office since they were traveling this.
And the windows are still so simple.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know how your Bugatti's getting windows, baby? It's getting a drive-through window. So simple.
And this is a Simca. It's the same as the little blue little cube car we saw.
Yes, in the very corner.
This is 1959.
I love the interior.
Isn't it cool?
Yeah, the interior is beautiful.
And then the little rack up there would
Love
be
it.
so you could put your maps or whatever and they wouldn't fall off the dash.
Nowadays, it would be a cell phone.
Now they'd be a cell phone, yes. At the time, they still use maps.
I don't know. They got. I was supposed to be less roads, and I don't my mind, but man, you would never get around. I wouldn't get around here without Jolene telling me
no.
where to go, turn left, turn right.
No.
You know, we knew where to turn. I still went past. And your decor that you've got going on here, what like that? You're like a bar in France or something like that. Like the way this is painted up. Is that? Did you make that, or is that old, or is that?
You talking about the bar?
Yeah, the bar. Am I like? What's
The bar was weird. We went to.
Cause that's beautiful.
We went to St. Petersburg one day, many years ago, and we loved the bar.
I do too.
But it was expensive. It's all hand painted in Brazil. So we gave up the idea. We didn't buy it, and then a few years later, we went somewhere, and there's the bloody bar again. And we thought, this is destiny. It's meant to be for us. So we bought it and we took it to our house. But it was too big for the house and it didn't really fit in. So when we built this, I thought this would be a great place to put the bar.
Like this is where I don't know what to say. When I was younger, I would go around to like when we had dump days or people were throwing out stuff. I had a local antique dealer that would buy antiques, obviously. And I would always be running around looking for stuff made out of pine or whatever that had square-headed nails in it. I learned my nails, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
So when I go into the thing and I see a piece of wood or a trunk, or I learned what a dovetail was or rat tail hinges and what the nails were and how old the nails were, if they were square-headed nails or if they were rosebud nails. And that's how I learned how to do antiques. So I would grab that stuff and would get a little extra money in my pocket. And I enjoyed it all when I was doing it because it was so fun to find it.
Oh yeah.
And that's a very nice that's very nice. Whether, someone could duplicate that or if it's really as old as it looks.
I don't think it's as old as it looks,
but it does look very, very nice. Beautiful.
And then this here was an old coat hanger. When you walked into a big house, you would put your umbrellas and your coats.
Yes.
So we completely redid it, and we took all the coat hangers and put them upside down, put shelves, put a mirror.
Look at all the corks.
So,
just a minute, I get behind there. Let's see this for a second. Man, there's a lot of fights in them happening there, with there, huh? Yeah, it's a good bottle of wine if you're.
That's a year's supply.
That's awesome. We just give all our beer bottles away, and I said, don't judge. The lady got all the beer bottles. Jolene supports the basketball kid. And she's really good, but anyways, we give them the beer bottles that I seem to tip up, and it's like your corks, but not as many. And this is a lighter collection?
Yeah. Oh, wrong line. There's another plug.
Do you smoke?
Sometimes.
Whenever you feel like it?
Whenever I feel like it. No, I started collecting these because they're going to become rare one day, and honestly, they're pretty. I mean, people would buy a lighter and it would be like a watch, or it was something they were proud of, or like the cigarette holders.
We recently met a guy that had 10,000 lighters.
Really?
He did. He had 10,000 lighters. They were lined up all over the wall. It was just like quite something else.
It is something.
We bought a Volvo off him, and his wife had 25,000 spoons or something like that. Like I'm telling you, it was quite something else. Like you wouldn't believe it. Like it was just everywhere. We had one of these guys, but it's gone now because I left it outdoors and it got hard and it just kind of.
Yeah, so this should get attached to the top of a van, a truck. Yeah.
He's still sitting on the doorstep actually with his back blown out.
Guys, I like you all. I'm going to show you something I don't show anybody.
Would you like the camera off or on?
Do you
mind? Okay, good. Good, fantastic. Fantastic.
It doesn't matter. We have to go upstairs.
Have you seen it yet, Chloe?
Probably, but I'm not exactly sure what exactly it wants to.
This has got a story, I take it?
It does. It's a local nurseryman that had it, and
He's right up your alley.
He bought it many years ago, and he went to go get his girlfriend in it the day he bought it. And she said, "What the fuck is this thing?" So he parked it. And it sat in a barn at his nursery for years and years. And Tom actually saw it and said, "Hey, this guy's got a Mary," which is French.
Yeah.
So I went to go see Mr. Crowley, and he said, "Oh, you want it? Grab it." So this is it.
Awesome.
We didn't do anything to it other than we put inner tubes in the tires so that they would hold air.
Did you get to see the car at Mullins Museum, the one they got out of the water?
Yes.
Yeah. We seen that, actually. We got to see that.
Yes.
It was a good story.
It was a great story.
Fantastic.
The guy that he ditched it because he couldn't pay taxes or something?
Something like that?
Yeah.
A race car driver or something? Mm-hmm. Lost it in a poker game?
That's it.
That was Jolene's brain, not mine. I like the way you got everything set up. Looks awesome.
Thanks.
Beautiful. Oh, cool. Oh, that sucker there, would you? I started making one of those.
You did?
Yeah.
I started making one too, and I ain't got nowhere with it yet.
Well, I can make it.
It's very time consuming.
Well, I made them yeah.
Well, that's what you do though.
That's what I do. I just cut them
Right.
apart and go for it. And it doesn't matter to me how close they are. But oh, it's nice.
So these are cool. These are turn of the century toys that are all mechanical. So for example, like this guy here, he's a butcher. And then when you turn his you look at his tongue and look at everything. Isn't that cool?
That looks like me when I work on a car.
And then this guy here,
He's a drinker.
he's a drinker. So
He put all them cork bottles down, or cork down there. Look at that now, would you? Where would these toys be made? Germany?
France.
France.
Well, I gotta wind him up, but you get the gist, right?
I do. I don't need to break it either.
No.
Very easy.
So yeah, they're all like that. This one here, when you wind her up, I'm not gonna do it, but she'll start walking and she'll wobble, and then all these plates go
wow.
up and they go everywhere, and then you gotta pick them up and put them back in.
That's called 52 pickup.
Yes.
These are nice. I like these.
And there's the barber.
Yeah. Cut these hair.
And this is the guy that cuts the hay.
So these are all.
Fisherman.
Are they all made by the same?
Mm-hmm. By the same company.
This guy up here, Jolene. Guy's playing music. The guy up here with the funny face.
Yeah.
What's that say? What's it?
So that's the company itself. So that's the book about all
Can you
this.
tell me what something like that would be worth? Just so I know if I see one.
Yeah, so
Which
yeah,
I probably
right. I think the most expensive one
Yeah.
I bought is this one, the Fisherman,
Yeah.
and that was like $7,400.
Wow. You just don't know, right? I mean, you
don't-
walk by that in the yard sale, you walk by
You
that.
don't know exactly.
You would never know.
Some of them I was very lucky. They didn't know what they had, so I got it cheap. But they're hard to find.
No doubt money.
And $7,400 sounds like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money. But I've only seen two like that one.
Yeah.
And it's in very good condition.
Well,
Remember,
listen-
these
well,
are
listen,
120 years old.
If you're willing to pay the money for it, you're the man that should have it and look after it. Isn't that the way it should go? You're the-
Right, and then
you're
one
obviously the
day,
caretaker.
one day this will go to somebody else that's going to enjoy it for what they are. But yeah, I love these little toys. I think they're so funny when you turn them mechanically. They have character. So the guy that built these little toys, he would go walk Paris and observe people, and that's where he came up with the idea of the guy drinking. We came up.
It doesn't seem like a hard toy. I mean, let's face it, you'd have to do the mechanics of it. But I could see how a person could make those at home
Yes.
if you wanted to. I mean, let's face it, it would take some labor, obviously, but that's what it's all about. That's what you appreciate.
Yeah.
So cool.
So this guy's a barrel. He walks and the barrels turn. The vinylist. She's a Miss Prissy Parisian woman, so she walks.
Okay.
Like that.
Maybe I'll have to start doing that. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome. I like it that you can sit up here and visualize down there. Jolene's going to take a picture. We seen one of these in Australia.
A real one?
Yeah. We were invited to Penrite Motor Oil,
Yeah.
and he has one. That. Yeah, we were at Penrite Motor Oil, and it was raced and the whole bit. It's pretty well identical to that. So if you ever go to Australia, it's at Penrite Motor Oil. And I think they even still race it. I think.
Probably do.
Yeah, I think.
I know.
And you got another toys here.
Yeah, those are the same from the same company.
You like motorized toys, or just French motorized toys?
French.
French motorized.
You have to give yourself a limit of
Yes.
which direction you're going.
Because you'd be here
otherwise
and there.
you'd be all over the place. Yeah.
I'm learning lots. Thank you so much. That was awesome.
Thank you.
The history lesson, the whole bit. The way your collection looks is amazing. Awesome.
There's the boss.
I want to know if she got the papers of that car.
Oh, she's got them hidden, I'm sure.
Is that right? Absolutely gorgeous.
Well, they know her too.
Yeah. Thanks, Chloe. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate it. Piece of art.
We're gonna go
Beautiful.
back to the shop. He's probably gonna teach you how to TIG weld or.
Oh.
Yeah. I wanted to help that buddy there a little bit too. Maybe scrub on his. I'm not sure. I'll do what I can do to help for a second or two. Maybe earn a beer or something.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they've already got those already set out for you.
I don't know which was.
The green one. I don't know if I ever told you that, but that one's
That
one
one?
of my favorites.
Yeah.
What's your favorite, Jolene? Take your time. The custom Citroën. Hello.
This is Rondell, the boss. Jolene behind the camera. And Chad.
I can't say what my favorite is. I can't say. I don't know. They're all quite something in their own. They're all quite something. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah. That's why I didn't say anything, because there's too many to. Like, I love the interior in this thing. This thing's bad. It's awesome. Delahaye's nice. One thing I liked about Delahaye, they would paint something on the side of the car, and it didn't even wasn't even in that shape, but they would still paint something on the side of it.
The
It still
two-tone
had a
ones?
Yeah, it still had a beautiful looking shape. What is the magnet about?
I don't know.
You just thought it was cool?
I thought it was cool.
That's why you buy things, when you like things.
Yeah, I just thought it was cool. It had to have been an advertisement for some company, but there's no lettering.
It'd be good for an aluminum car.
Yeah.
It don't stick. Yeah. So, did you make that out of tiles? Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. That's well done.
Yeah, I made it here on the floor. I bought the tiles in France because they're a special size.
Yes.
You can't find them here. And then a friend of mine in
Only you would know that.
a friend of mine in Holland actually made all the stickers.
Yeah.
Then basically put them all on a big piece of wood and made it, and then framed it, and then It's so bloody heavy. It took a Bobcat and six of my guys to get it up there. So it's not coming down.
It looks good up there. What's this thing over here? Is it old or is it just a...
It
Gotta go this
it's
way?
some guy that builds them by hand,
Okay.
and I don't know much about it. But if you look at it, it's
pretty-
all it's all made from
Yeah.
recycled little parts.
Yeah. Cute.
Very cute.
Pictures, eh? I love pictures. I like we're just, well, that red shell's cool. The big race car, it's red and it's got a great big brass grill on the front of it.
Oh, the Fiat.
And it just bangs when they turn it.
Yes,
I love
yes.
that car. I love that car. I love that car. It's a Fiat, is it?
It's a Fiat. It's got a name though.
Yeah, it's
It's famous.
quite a car.
I forget the name.
All right, everybody, thanks for coming back. If you don't watch this video, I don't know what to say. There's something wrong with you. This museum it's a museum. Car collection is absolutely fantastic. Fantastic. I love it. Have a great day and come back tomorrow, please.